We know that? Okay.
Yes.
So participation in the guilds would mean that you are going to be in the limelight. Business will work for you. You will have customers. You will have favor. You will get goods even if it's scarce. You know, people. You will have a network. So when you refuse to participate, it is a sign of being loyal.
My God.
Are we seeing that? A sign of being probably a traitor or whatever it is we call him in our nation. So if you refuse to be a part of the guild, or if you claim you're a part of and do not want to practice the practices, you are likely to lose customers. No, that's a decision that many persons have to take. So you are a Christian in business in an environment like this. Would you really, so we can begin to see how compromise would work. Somebody is going to tell us that, look, you can come and you can come, you can eat, you don't have to pray to the gods, but you can come and you might not, you don't have to get drunk, you can drink but you don't get drunk. We try to soften it so that we can be there, because you might lose your contract, you might lose employment, and of course there is going to be social rejection. You're not going to be one of who will hear that a ship coming or what coming, get business ready. You'll only see everybody else in place and you're wondering when did that happen, because you won't get the grassroots information. So this created tremendous pressure on those who were determined to still be Christians and to not compromise. So the believers then, they faced issues daily. They had to make decisions daily. Should I lose my livelihood or compromise my faith? Those were real things. Do I really not participate and lose my livelihood? Worse, if you have somebody sick and need medicine. Because we see so many persons these days do anything, flooding TikTok and everywhere. You're always seeing somebody willing to go the extra mile because they want to make the money to get a parent well or to get a child well or whatever. Can I afford to lose my livelihood? Can I compromise my faith? Does it take all this? Some teachers may tell you, some other Christians, some other business Christian or Christians in business might encourage you and let you know God understands. Have you ever seen those kind of compromise?
Yes, yes.
God understands, or just participate. You don't have to make a big deal of that. Just participate. After last week's Bible study, I was talking with Pastor Kurt, because we teach in Bible study doesn't mean that we just come and teach and go. We have been reading and studying and going back to read over the scriptures and hear what God is saying. And one of the discussions we're having in our kitchen was that, look, the compromise is so serious, where your friends are, or we will decide, let's not blame our friends, we will decide, Ajane, to compromise in some subtle ways. Like, okay, I can go to the meeting. I don't have to pray out loud, I can pray in my heart. So we're not wanting to show or to identify as Christian. So we don't do anything that will make people know we're Christian out in the public, because we want to be a part of the guilds. We want to be a part of, we want to ensure that we stay in business. I don't have to put anything about Jesus in my car. I don't have to play Jesus music in my car. I can go cultural, because that's the trick now. We're going cultural. What is culture? Is it the culture of the kingdom? It doesn't mean anything, So we're participating for a reason, and that false teaching will eventually enter the church. Do you understand that? So let's go back now to let's just a little history on the church in Thyatira, and it should give us a foundation to understand what's going on here. So the scripture the letter opens in verse 18 to them, right? And what we like in chapter 1 of Revelation, we saw a number of ways that Jesus was described. And if we notice that every church got a different character of Jesus, he came to them in a different way. So So, in verse 18, these things say God's. I mean, so much. Every guild had at least a God, and it can be was filled with false gods. So Jesus coming to this church that had such a problem, that was being oppressed by this kind of situation, he addresses himself. He introduced himself as the only Son of God. So whatever God you have, I am the only Son of God. Supreme power. We were just singing about him.
Yes.
We were just singing about him. Jesus alone. So that's the Son of God. And we see in chapters in the Bible, like in Psalm 7, we see where verse 7 says, well, you find it, I will proclaim the Lord's decree. He said unto me, what did he say? You are my son. My son, today I become your father. So we're seeing a royal declaration, establishes a special intimate bond with the chosen king, publicly affirming his authority and his lordship. He is the legitimate Son of God. Everything else is idols.
Yes.
Everything else.
Silent sea.
Yes. We also see in Matthew 16, verse 16, and we know that one very well because we like to pray it with Simon Peter. Yes, with Simon Peter. Simon Peter answered with all of what was going on, because I want us to understand that these guys were real guys. Sometimes, we jump over them, like in this particular thing. Why do you think you have to be asking this question? So much God. Everywhere you turn is a God. Everywhere. And everybody pushing. It's like products now. When you look online, everybody's product is the best product. You don't know which one to take.
Yeah.
Every product is the best one. So just imagine these guys in such a situation, such a community where gods saturated the atmosphere. So in answering, Peter says, what did Peter say? You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Yes. So Simon Peter here makes a bold declaration of faith, stating that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Many couldn't say that because your business might shut down.
And many today aren't saying that.
Many today aren't saying that. So this moment was a turning point where Peter correctly identified Jesus, not just as a great teacher. They've been walking around him and he's a great teacher.
Yes.
And many persons today just still see him as a great teacher. Some see him as a great prophet. They cannot see him as the Son of God. Can you imagine? Then, not only did he describe himself in verse 18 as the Son of God, what else it says about him there? He had what? Eyes like fire. So we have to understand each term here. So the eyes like fire represents perfection. It represents what? God's judgment. It represents his purity. So these eyes of fire represents a piercing gaze. And this gaze does what? It searches the heart and it searches the mind. So what can we say then? Jesus does what? He sees every hidden motive. He sees everything. Can you imagine? So when, I don't know, you have people, Christians, because I'm not talking about sinners now. Let's